Alright guys, before all this went down, I was going to make a video about anxiety because that's the thing that I've had the most experience with in terms of mental health problems. I spent quite a large portion of my recent life, and probably even before recent, suffering from quite severe anxiety, and I have actually beaten that, and I don't often suffer with it anymore, and when I do I can get rid of it really quite fast. So I was going to talk about that. In light of recent events, everything's going pretty crazy at the moment. I feel like what I was going to talk about applies to everything, but now everything's so escalated and everything's really amplified at the moment, but I'm going to explain it anyway, because I really think that it really makes no difference what situation you apply it to. So someone recently explained to me the constitution of fear and how it works. So if you would have asked me even 2 years ago what the opposite of love was, I would have said maybe hate, or because in England everybody has love and hate tattooed on their knuckles, or I might have said fear was the opposite of love. But in fact, if love is selflessness, I think most people would agree that people talk about unconditional love and it being selfless. So the opposite of love is selfishness. So where does fear fit into this? So when we're selfish, we create expectations. So selfishness causes us to, it means that we have like lust and desire. We want things. So when we want something, we create an expectation. We want things to go our own way. So we might say that we want to do some kind of job and get a certain amount of money out of it, or we might want to be kind to someone in a certain way, because we then expect them to act in a certain way, and we'll expect to receive something back for the things that we do. And when we create this expectation, we then have anxiety arises out of this self-centeredness. This is where the fear actually rises out of this, because we're wanting something and expecting something. We then become afraid that it's not going to go our way, and that we're going to personally going to lose something from this. So in this case at the moment, I'll just sort of apply it to how I'm feeling. I don't want to get ill, but that has actually been completely put aside, because I'm not, actually as bothered about myself as I am about other people and the people who I care about. So I also don't want to lose anybody who I love during this time, which is the most extreme and actually possible outcome of what's going on at the moment. But that's still, in a way, I don't want to lose that person. That's potentially still self-centered, but you have to observe that at a very deep level. Now there's the more trivial stuff, which is like, I see a lot of people putting on Facebook, oh, I really want to go out for it and walk, or I want to go out and do this or this festival. I understand in England it's just been winter and it's miserable, and when you're coming up into summer, it's the only 3 months of the year that anybody really enjoys at best. So I understand that it's like really, really challenging for people who are coming into England at the moment in the summer and they can't go out. But at the end of the day, this thing is absolutely deadly, and it's just not negotiable, is it really? You see all these people who are pulling up some really wonderful points at the moment. Like, I've been observing how self-centered the world is just generally, and just expecting something to happen, because I just felt like everybody needed a lesson, because everybody's so focused on their own selfish desires, just trivial stuff like how much they're getting paid. They're looking at what someone else has got and envying what other people have got, and they're not just completely ungrateful of what they have, which is just a massive, massive problem with depression. Is people expecting to have more, and they're meditating on what they don't have rather than what they do have. So in a nutshell, the cure for anxiety is not wanting anything. So if we try to become as kind and as selfless as we possibly can, with putting other people's welfare in front of our own, obviously taking care of our own needs. You obviously need to look after your body, you obviously need to eat, you obviously need to earn money. These are things that you have to do your duties as a human being. But then beyond those things, when we can go beyond them, as soon as those bases are covered, we need to be thinking, how can we be of service to other people? If you've read any of my stuff, this is all it comes back to. Every single time it comes back to this is, how can I be of service? And there's a really important, beyond just the spiritual aspect of this, there's a really practical and scientific element to this, which is explained very nicely in Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. So when we have cortisol in our system, which is essentially when we're anxious, it's because our body is full of cortisol. So this completely compromises our immune system. It makes us stiff, it makes our body sore, it makes us tired. It's just got this absolutely gnarly list of awful side effects of cortisol. Okay, so when we're stressed, our immune system's low. Now at the moment, that's just no good. Cortisol is something that we experience from self-centeredness. We experience this when we fear that we're going to lose something. On the other end of the spectrum, we have oxytocin. So oxytocin, when we have that, oxytocin actually, it boosts our immune system. It makes us feel warm and happy and fuzzy inside. It's all those, warm, nice feelings that you just associate with things that you want. It's like quite a euphoric feeling. So to receive oxytocin, we actually need to, we can get that from doing acts of kindness. You can get that from physical contact, all the good stuff that you really crave deep down, beyond those cheap, selfish thrills. So if we actually want to not just feel good, but actually have a boosted immune system so that we have a chance of fighting this thing off, we actually get that by performing acts of kindness. So at the moment, there's really a lot going on that we can't control. Like, we can't control what's going on out there externally. We really have very little control at the moment, and it is scary, and I'm experiencing that. But there are things that we can do, and there are ways that we can be kind, like isolating ourselves, following all these strict precautions that we can at the moment, and really thinking, how can I stop this from spreading, and just doing any little bits and pieces that you can. Whether it's, if you're an artist, making art, putting it out there and doing all these things, keeping people's morale going while they're locked away in this time, because it is difficult, and everybody can still do something even if they have lost those freedoms. One thing that's also really been brought to light is how unresilient we are. I know that when I heard that I had to sort of stay inside, I was actually almost a little bit excited, because it meant I get to meditate, I get to read spiritual scriptures, and I get to like really go deep into that stuff and practice those things. And a few years ago, I would have been absolutely pissed off, because every single thing that I draw my happiness from in this world was things like going outside, adrenaline activities, maybe drugs, drinking, or hanging out with certain people just to get my kicks out of things. And it was really all super external. But now I know that I can actually go inwards and actually go on like an internal journey, and it's made me so much more resilient. And I know exactly what a lot of people feel like. Having to stay inside is just absolute hell. It was for me as a kid. I always was constantly out doing stuff. So I know where you feel, but this is an absolutely amazing opportunity to be able to go inwards and really explore something and find. And it's not a matter of doing nothing. It's like it really is an activity. It really is doing something. You just don't need anyone or anything to do it. So I highly recommend exploring that avenue. If you want to know any information, just send me a message and I can send you some material and give you some guidance and things to do, because it's really hard to get into that if you don't know anything about it. I know I searched for a long time and kept finding dead ends, or just couldn't get into meditation because I didn't know what it was or anything like that. So yeah, send me a message about that. if you get anxious and you're completely just in your head and you're just spaced out and you're just like, don't know what I'm doing, and it is an awful state to be in, one thing that I find that just pulls me straight out of it, if you can get near some kind of nature or something like that, or just sit down and really focus on trees or something, get close to it and like just really focus on it. I find nature the nicest thing to look at. It's the cliche, whatever, but it really is a wonderful thing. And if you actually just start really exploring and going into that and thinking about the depth that goes into those things, and just how much of an absolutely amazing creation these things actually are, and looking at the complexity and the depth, you'll find that it just snaps you. It really brings you present. I know that when I used to do these things, it didn't really do it until I actually found some appreciation in these things, about how these machines are keeping us alive, these trees, these biome machines. I don't know, give it a go, but it really helps me just to do that and to get grounded. I'm going to try and keep making some videos through this. Sorry this one was a bit late, it's been a bit manic being in New Zealand. I was living in a van for quite a long time and having nowhere to go, but fortunately I managed to find a base here. So yeah, I'll stay in touch. If anybody, I know this is going to be an incredibly difficult time for so many people who are already struggling. There's going to be some massive financial things with people going on, people who are already completely depressed. One thing is, we've got to accept what's going on as a thing that's happening. There's nothing we can do about it, so we have to 100% accept it. That's it, we're staying in, we're locked inside. You know, it's just happening and it's for the good of other people and it has to be done. If you are having a really shitty time, give me a message. I would love to talk to you. Don't care who you are, don't care if I know you. If I do or don't, I'd like to talk to you anyway. It'll be nice. I want to talk to people, you know, I'm not doing a lot. So please send me a message. Yeah, cool. Now this really is the perfect opportunity to break the chain. All these things, all these selfless things that we need to do in our life that we can't see because we're out there distracting ourselves, going and playing golf, swimming, doing drugs, whatever it is that's distracting us. We have to take a long cold stare into the darkness now and sit with ourselves. So this is the perfect opportunity to really analyse what's going on and put those things in place. Right guys, break the chain.